Welcome back to my Kerbal Space Program series Beyond the Wormhole, where we're exploring some of the new destinations in the Kcalbeloh Planet Pack Mod using stock parts as far as possible. And today we're going to a gas giant called Anehta. It's got a few moons. We have a spaceplane atmospheric lander. One of its moons has got like a really nice atmosphere. And we've got like a normal kind of like moon style lander. It's got kind of like this rocky moon that we're also going to be landing on. And so we're going to be landing on both in this episode. It's going to be really cool. I feel like this is like my magnum opus mission. But let's go to the launch pad and launch this thing. Okay, we got off the launch pad. We're about to do our first stage separation in just a moment here. And there goes the first stage. I kind of had a mouthful to explain at the beginning of this episode, so I'll just let you guys watch the mission for a little while, and I'll just kind of like narrate what I'm doing. But yeah, and there goes our second stage. This thing is like staged out the wazoo. I think my nuclear transfer vehicle portion has like 13,000 meters per second of delta V, and you can just do that by like asparagus staging your tanks like to like an outrageous amount. I think I have like 2 layers, all like radial layers of tanks that you can detach. But I just got my orbit circularized. And we're going to be starting our burn to Sarnus, which is where our asteroid refueling station is, where we're going to be refueling before entering the wormhole, which also orbits Sarnus. We've got like a 20, 15, 10 degree transfer window past 90 degrees. Yeah, so Sarnus is part of the Outer Planets mod. It includes, it's kind of like a stock-alike expansion to the Kerbol system. It's got like a Sarnus, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, kind of like analog deal setup. I highly recommend it. I play with it as if it's just like a stock expansion. But if you don't have Outer Planets mod installed, the Kcalbeloh mod will place the wormhole around Joule, so you're all good. And so right now we're just trying to set up our intercept here. That's my transfer angle that you can see, and we've got kind of like a close encounter. There we go, we've got an intercept. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm probably going to fast forward ahead to where I've rendezvoused with my asteroid refueling station near the rings of Sarnus. It's kind of just like a tedious process, and I've done it a few times in actually like almost every video. And so I'm just gonna fast forward ahead, but we're starting our burn here. I'll see you guys in 4 years. Okay, and so here we are arriving at the asteroid refueling station, just getting ready to dock here. Yeah, so I've also just fast forward a few weeks to where I've refueled my my whole interplanetary stage, nuclear transfer stage. So this guy's like nice and fresh and ready to go, and we're going to be using a slate gravity assist here to kick our orbit up to the height of the wormhole, which is that gold orbit that I have set as target. And it looks like we got like a really nice actually encounter with the wormhole just after my gravity assist with slate. That's like nice and clean. So we'll be there in less than 1 orbit. There we've got our intercept. There's our slate gravity assist. Slate's like kind of like a Tylo-ish kind of moon that orbits Sarnus. It's useful for like gravity assists in the Sarnus system, just like Tylo. So here we are just adjusting our flyby of the wormhole. You need to get it below 30 kilometers to jump, or 3 kilometers, 30,000 meters. Yeah, and so I kind of tend to take like a really steep trajectory through it. I think it gives you like cooler visuals. Yeah, but we've got our flyby set up here. Just fiddling with it a little bit more, but we're warping ahead. And so there it is. We're going to be entering it in just a few moments. And here we are in the Sarah system, on the other side of the wormhole in the Kcalbeloh system. So this planet orbits the star Sunorc, and there are 3 stars that orbit the black hole Kcalbeloh, and this is just the first system. This is one of the planets that orbits it. And we're actually going to have to leave this star system because the planet that we're going to, Anehta, the gas giant, is in a different star system that orbits the black hole Kcalbeloh. It's in a binary system called the Aralc system. And what we're going to be doing is just kicking our orbit up. We're going to wait kind of like a portion of the solar year until our orbit lines up in a prograde direction where we could start our escape burn. Yeah. So there we go. We're just going to escape the system so that we can see a few orbits ahead and start plotting our transfer burn to the Aralc binary system. So we're just going to be leaving the Sarah system here. And so the Aralc system is that blue star line that's kind of like the furthest system orbiting the Kcalbeloh black hole at the center here. And the transfer angle from the Sunorc system to the Aralc system is about 72-73 degrees. So I'm trying to line that up here. I usually just eyeball my transfer angle, so I hope it's okay. And so here's our escape burn from Sunorc that we're plotting, and we've got an intercept here nice and clean. We're gonna have to do a mid-course correction, but this is good enough for now. We're gonna go ahead and start our burn in just a second here. After I fiddle around with it a little bit longer. Looks like I have these probes flying through the Kcalbeloh system from an earlier mission. I'm actually probably gonna go to the tracking station and get rid of them real quick. There we go. Okay, we're back. Alright, so let's warp to our maneuver. It's almost 3.5 kilometers of delta V, so it's a really big burn. We're going to be staging some of our external radial tanks here. It's in like an asparagus stage kind of like configuration that maximizes like efficiency and like wet mass to dry mass of your ship. So there's our first interplanetary stage detached. There's our second set of stages detached. There's our third detached stage. There's the black hole in the back there. There's another stage, and we've got our escape from the Sunorc system, and so we're just trying to kick our apoapsis up to intersect the Aralc system. Okay, we've got our intercept into the Aralc system. Now I just have to kind of like play around with this orbit. I'm going to set up a maneuver, and we're going to try to get our flyby in like the right inclination so that we can do a gravity assist off of its smaller star in the binary pair, which is kind of like a red dwarf kind of deal, and we can use that to capture, as you can see here, like this red orbit is our resulting orbit from this gravity assist from the smaller star, which is like Aralc A B, I think. But I've set the Anehta system as my target. It's this yellow goldish orbit, kind of like outside, like on the outermost orbit of the planet. So the trick here is going to be getting your gravity assist around Aralc A B, but also kind of like ending up in a resulting orbit with an inclination that matches Anehta, which is going to be our final destination. And the earlier we can do that, the better. So I'm just performing that inclination burn to set up that gravity assist real quick. We've got our flyby, and we've got a capture there, and luckily enough, it looks really good as far as like an inclination match to the Anehta system goes. So we're going to be warping ahead. That little blue dot is the star. We're going to be warping ahead a few decades till we drift into the system. But there's that binary pair that I was talking about. We've actually visited both the planets that orbit close into these binary stars. One is Aurora, that orbits the red star. You can actually see it. It's got kind of like a trail of its own atmosphere blowing away from its proximity to the star. We visited that on a previous episode. And there we go. There's our flyby. We're captured into the Aralc system. And then the other one is just that lava planet from my last episode. That orbits close into the like the white giant star, the blue giant star. We did that in our last episode. So we warped ahead to our apoapsis. We're performing just like a final inclination burn, just to like match completely with Anehta. And so I'm gonna have to actually raise my periapsis above the binary stars, so that if I have to wait a few orbits, which I most likely will, I don't get any unwanted intercepts that mess up my orbit. So I can use the next orbit button on the maneuver to check that. And it looks like I'm good right now. And we got a natural encounter with the Anehta system in like 45 years. So that's good enough for me. So we're going to wait. Doing it this way can save fuel, but you use time. But yeah, that's good enough for me. Okay. Okay, so we've got our intercept. Now we just have to plant. Here's the planet, by the way, Anehta. Yeah, it's actually super beautiful. Like it's like one of the coolest planets in this mod. But we're going to be planning another gravity assist to capture around the Anehta system to save fuel. It's going to be like a similar maneuver to like a gravity assist capture around Jool or Sarnus. It's got this kind of like really high gravity moon called Elad. Sorry, it's Dale backwards, so I was mixed up. But yeah, it's pretty high mass. It's like 0.7. It's like 3/4 the mass of Kerbin, so you can use it to do these gravity assists. So I'm just trying to encounter it at my periapsis, and then if I just like fine-tune my approach to it, you can get a gravity assist if you're on the right side of it. I just gotta play with that a bit. Looks like we gotta be on the other side of it. Yep, there we go. See that red resulting orbit? That is our captured orbit around Anehta for only 110 meters per second of delta V in advance. So this is kind of like the beauty of gravity assists. And if you want to explore the Kcalbeloh system using stock parts, these kinds of gravity assists are absolutely necessary to save fuel, that is. So now I'm just playing with my resulting orbit. We're going to be trying to drop down into the rings of Anehta, where you can find some asteroids. And we're going to be using some of those asteroids to refuel. I have like a little refinery mounted on the top of my payload rig here. And we're going to be using that to dock with an asteroid and refuel, so that we're going to have enough fuel to get back to Kerbin after this mission is over. So there we've got our captured orbit there, sorry. I'm just playing around with it, because I also have to match the inclination to the rings at some point. But everything looks pretty good. just redoing that gravity assist there to get the inclination right. And it looks good. I'm gonna be warping ahead till we start to reach the Anehta system. There it is in the distance. Yeah, there it is. And we're approaching Elad, which is the moon that we're going to be using to do our gravity assist here. I love like the surface textures of all the moons in the Kcalbeloh Planet Pack. It's just really high quality. Yeah, but here we are. So it looks like on our next flyby, we're actually going to be doing another. We're going to actually fly by Elad again, and that's. So I'm just picking out an asteroid that we're going to be trying to aim for. But it looks like on our next orbit, we're actually hitting another kind of like flyby of Elad that puts us into an even lower orbit that drops us into the ring. So that's actually super convenient. Didn't have to set that up. It was just natural. So we're about to do our second flyby of Elad. And this will drop our orbit into the rings. Cool. And so I've set the asteroid that I'm going for as my target. It's like that highlighted orbit, kind of closer to the rings. We're going to do a little quick EVA, spacewalk to stretch your legs real quick. But yeah, in just a second, we'll try to align our inclination to the asteroid, and then we'll just do kind of like a standard, kind of like docking process to meet up with the asteroid. We're gonna do another spacewalk. The view is just too good. We're warping up to one of our ascending or descending nodes, and that's where you can try to match your inclination with your target. We've got our like a 0 inclination, so we're kind of on the same plane as it, and now we're starting to, we want to lower our periapsis so that it intersects the orbit, and then it'll have these close encounter markers, and then you can just play around with like the prograde or retrograde arms in the maneuver planner, and then you can like swing those around to get a separation that's like good enough for you. And look at us under the rings here. That's crazy. You can see those close encounter nodes swinging around. We want those to match up and get like a relatively low separation. That looks good enough for me. So we're just warping ahead till we're starting to approach our asteroid. We're going to have to set our nav ball to target and then burn retrograde relative to our target until we match its speed and thereby match its orbit, and then we can go ahead and try to dock with the asteroid with our we have like a grabbing arm on the end of our fuel refinery at the tip of my spacecraft here. So there's the asteroid. We just gotta slow down. Looks like we've matched our speed. And now you just point to target and burn towards it just a little bit, and then kind of like rinse and repeat, burn retrograde, and then re-burn towards it. Okay, we've docked with the asteroid. Now we're going to start our mining operation here, and we're going to use the resources on this asteroid to refine liquid fuel so that we can refuel our nuclear stages. But it looks like my radiators are actually catching some heat from the blue giant star, which is pretty hot. So we're actually gonna have to like rotate so that the asteroid is like shielding us from the sunlight, and then our radiators will be able to cool off our refinery system. But I'm just gonna warp ahead in just a bit till we've gotten all refueled. Started that drill there. Just making sure all the docking ports have cross-feed disabled. To my landers, I don't want to mess up their fuel, but I do want to refuel the nuclear stage. So yeah, it takes just a little while to get your ship refueled. This is me kind of like warping ahead till I've got it all refueled. Okay, so we've used all the resources on this asteroid. We're actually gonna have to, I mean, I don't know if we ended up having to do this. It wasn't necessary to do this, I think, in the end, but I think I was like really nervous I wouldn't have enough fuel to make it back, so I think we're actually gonna go after a second asteroid just to top us off. We're pretty much like close to completely refueled, but for some reason I wanted to be really thorough. So here we've got a different asteroid close encounter set up. There it is. We're burning retrograde to match its orbit, and then burn towards it, and then dock with it. Docked. And I'll probably do the same thing again. I'll just probably warp ahead till we've gotten everything nice and refueled. Okay. So detached. Looks like my refueling operations like all done. So we can set up our trajectory towards the atmospheric moon Efil, which is like a super cool, kind of like almost lathe type moon. The orbit, there it is. You can see it kind of through the rings there. But that's where we're going to be using our space plane to land. It's got like some really beautiful beaches that we're going to be trying to land at. We've got our flyby here. We're going to be adjusting it so we can get like a nice equatorial flyby here. And we're gonna perform that adjustment burn here. There it is. Just one more inclination burn to match. Then I'm gonna go ahead and destage one of these tanks. Alright, we've got a nice equatorial trajectory lined up. We're going to have to do a capture burn at periapsis. It's got an atmospheric height of about 72,000 meters, which is really close to what Kerbin's is actually. So I'm pretty sure this moon is Kerbin sized-ish. There's some science if you want to read it. There we go. We've got it captured. Here are just some views of the Anehta and the Efil systems. It's beautiful. Looks good. Okay, so now we're gonna do our burn at periapsis to circularize. I just kind of like left that elliptical orbit so we can get some nice views. But looks like we're just about circularized. There we go. And we're gonna start our landing. So I'm just getting into my space plane. We're gonna detach here. Just gonna burn away from the rig here. And then I'm gonna burn with my aerospike engine to lower my periapsis to like 30,000 meters or something like that. Yeah. Just gotta close those solar panels. We're gonna start our descent, our re-entry, or I guess entry, because we haven't been there yet, but we're trying to keep kind of like a nice gliding angle of attack as we enter the atmosphere here. It's got some really cool, like, white rock mountains. That's cool. I deployed my front flaps to keep that nice angle of attack a little bit easier. Look at that. Look at that. I guess you wouldn't call that a moonrise. It's like a planet rise. Or we're just... Okay, we're not quite burning off our speed fast enough. I want to land at one of these beaches, so we're gonna glide over to one of these beaches. I'm gonna actually activate my air-breathing engines because there's oxygen on this moon. All right, we're just gonna get ready to land on one of these strips of coastline. Deployed our drogue chutes to slow down. I'm actually going to taxi over to the beach here so that I can check out the oceans here. All right. Plant a flag here. There's some more science if you want to read it. We're going to walk over to the... so we can dip our toes in. And then we're going to try to watch a sunrise. The air's breathable here. That's cool. I always like to watch the sunrises. I guess it's not a sunrise, it's like a planet rise. Alright, that's going to be it for part 1. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.